Hopefully it's not too windy and you can hear me properly. So this video is a quick chat about the Aims and Actions document. The Aims and Actions document, first section is farmer philosophy. The farmer philosophy is really interesting. It's all nice and well to say the most important thing on our farm is staff, but the farm's got to function as a business. If it doesn't function as a business, it'll be unable to employ staff in the future. So your farmer philosophy is often a little bit bigger than what your bosses may or what you may believe. So you have to dig a little deeper, and some of your employers will be really comfortable having that conversation. Others will be quite uncomfortable with it. So you want to find out what are the real beliefs and drivers that they have. The importance of the farmer philosophy is quite high, as it's going to determine what recommendations you might make for the farm in the future. So an example would be if the farmer philosophy was to breed superior Friesians or superior livestock, and they were quite passionate about that, and their preferred breed was Friesian, you wouldn't really go about promoting a change to Jersey on their farm. It'd be pretty unlikely to go ahead unless they had multiple farms and multiple interests in the different breeds. So the farmer philosophy is not something you'd really want to contradict when making recommendations, okay? So that's one way to look at it. The main section of the Aims and Actions is really actually the SWOT analysis. We talked about the SWOT analysis in that the strengths and weaknesses are internal to the farm, and when I say, that's going to be quite annoying, that noise, when I say internal to the farm system, so easily controlled by the farm or on the farm. So we might think of a strength, the soil type might be a strength in a particular area because it's free draining and highly productive, highly fertile soil, capable of producing, let's say, 20 tonnes of dry matter per hectare. The weaknesses could be infrastructure. They may be the soil type again, so you have to brainstorm and come up with what those are. Now, if you've done a really awesome job on the farm description, some of the strengths and weaknesses will already be apparent. Let's say, for example, in my farm description, I've included that the housing is near new housing, all built within the last 10-15 years, and it's all of a high standard, or if it's been renovated or similar. That type of housing is a strength to the farm business. It makes it easier to recruit staff, so you can use that definitely as a strength. So strengths and weaknesses are both internal to the farm. So let's think about human wealth. You can consider human capital or human wealth as the education of the main people in the business. You might have access to the best consultant in Canterbury, and that's an asset or an advantage for the farm, so we would say that that's a strength. It might be that the owners have 30 years experience in the industry and have been very successful at times as well, so those are really good things to consider. The opportunities and threats are the external factors. So by external factors, we can't really influence them very much at all. They can have a major effect on the business. So one external factor that is playing on your farm at the moment is ECAN's rules around nitrogen losses in the water. So it's really important that your farm tries to meet the baseline levels going forward in the future. So when they were thinking about making these changes, it was a definite threat, and now it's imminent. You need to do something about it, or probably it's going to cost farmers. Another example of a threat might be international commodity prices, could be interest rates. So these things we don't really control as farmers, but they can have a huge impact on the profitability of the farm. Opportunities are an interesting one. Opportunities can include technologies. So technologies, for example, if I have a farm with automatic cup removers and a really good system in the cowshed. Oh, sorry, if I don't have those systems already, those are definitely opportunities that we can invest in. If you don't have a heat detection camera, that's an opportunity that can save a bit of save some work if they're operated really well. So opportunities could be technical, they could be taking advantage of a market trend or market area. I didn't mention a threat before. One threat is public perception, and we've seen this on social media. We haven't seen much recently about people's opinions, or some people sharing negative opinions about the farming industry and the farming of animals in general. So I think that's a fair threat to have in the system. So the SWOT analysis is really good as a brainstorming session. Okay, so it doesn't really help you put things into order and help you to put the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats into any actions. So what I recommend is actually taking your SWOT analysis to the next level and doing a TOES matrix. The TOES matrix is in your examples and tools folder, and really the TOES matrix is about having to think about what strengths you can use to reduce the risk of weaknesses, what strengths you can use to take advantage of opportunities and mitigate threats. So let's say, for example, that the farm has excellent human capital, that the farm owners are really good at teaching. Sorry about that. So let's say the farm owners have a really good experience training and teaching people how to become herd managers and all the way up through to managers. I would say that is something that they can take advantage of. They can take advantage of the strength to position themselves to be good at recruitment for staff. So once that reputation gets round, that staff can go well and progress. If they work on that farm, that's a really good strength to take advantage of, and you'd prioritise using that. When you're writing up the TOES matrix, you want to consider you want to consider scaling the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. For example, some people use a system where if they score a strength at a number 5, they say that's a really strong strength and we must take advantage of that and capitalise on it. They might score a strength at number 1 and say, well, okay, it's a strength, but we're not really that prepared to use it to our advantage, or we don't need to. You can do likewise for the threats. If a threat is imminent and highly important, and it could affect the profitability of the business or the ability of the business to continue to perform, you might score that at a 5 because it's really important that you deal with it. So yeah, have a think about whether you want to prioritise that or not. That's optional. The TOES matrix is optional, but I highly recommend it for flushing out what your actions will be. So the actions section down the bottom of aims and actions is really the individual actions that you're going to take, and there's a lot of them. I encourage you to think right back to level 4 and when you first started thinking about body condition score, and when it's important. When you make dry off decisions relating to, let's say, mating targets, a lot of people think those decisions start around calving. Actually, they start around February and March, the year of mating. So I want you to dig a little bit deeper in your thinking than you might have done in the past. A lot of people add a section in there underneath the actions, and they add a section called measures, and these are the things that we're going to measure to make sure that the actions are taking place. So let's say, for example, if we were going to implement an action of fully feeding our cows, The measures would definitely be production and body condition score gain at certain times. Okay, so you don't have to go too deeply with your actions in the aims and actions document, but this document is going to warm you up for later on when you do KPIs and you need good, definite actions that you're going to have come up during the year, and you're going to show us that you are monitoring your KPI. You're going to show us that you're putting together a good plan and that you're going to meet the actions and targets that you set. Okay, so good luck.